Hello and welcome to the Leave a Legacy podcast, where we go beneath the skin of some of the UK's most exciting entrepreneurs to see what makes them tick, what the future holds and how they got to where they are today. This podcast is powered by Kurogo, so special thank you to those guys. We hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Leave a Legacy podcast. I'm here with Keelan Waldock, founder of Bwownies. Keelan, welcome.
Nice to be here.
It's a really interesting one for me because we've known each other for a couple of years now, nearly a couple of years from what I've been doing with Legacy Club. You've been one of our founding members, and we'll talk about your journey today and how that has transitioned from you as a young man into where you are today, still a young man, but obviously with a growing, successful business. And the whole point of today, Leave a Legacy podcast, is so that we can go beneath the skin of our members, find out what makes them tick, what inspired you, who inspired you to take you on this journey, an entrepreneurial journey, which is not for the faint-hearted, so fair play to you doing it. And actually what the future might hold and what a legacy would look like for you. So welcome again, and thank you for taking the bit of a schlep over on the train, 2 hours, but I'm very grateful. You always give up your time for us, which is really, really appreciated. So tell us about young Keelan. Where does Keelan grow up, and what was his passions as a young boy?
Yeah, so I grew up sort of East Anglia, Suffolk, Essex way, and yeah, just loved sport. That was my main thing, and I played like every sport I can think of. Like when I look back, I think I was doing a different sport every day of the week, and that was all I had really. I wasn't that academic. I never really liked school. I just loved PE. And yeah, I think it was just, I wanted to be the best, whatever I did. I had to win, and if I didn't, I'd flip the Monopoly board up or something. Everything I'd done, I had to win. And I guess it's still the same.
So you're 21 now? So,
yeah, 21.
Still a very young man.
Yeah.
So when you were at school, you say you weren't academic, were there, other than sort of, the physical stuff, or were there lessons or classes that you excelled at? Was there even a home economics cooking environment?
Yeah. Well, no, I did actually do food tech. I think I got an A in. I was a bit gutted I didn't get an A star, but it's like science I failed, and French I got an F because I basically just studied English. I knew I needed English and maths, so I basically I realised that I didn't need French, so I just started studying for maths and English in those lessons, basically.
So how did school finish up for you?
I finished up and decided to do a B-Tech. I got like what I needed to get into that, and I actually I had a cricket scholarship because I loved cricket and I wanted to play professionally. But obviously that didn't happen. But so I actually went to a nice school, I've done a B-Tech, which doesn't really happen much. I just got my head down really. I wanted to go to uni. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to go to uni, and that would give me 3 years to sort of decide what I wanted to do.
So when you were a young man, you were going through school and you're looking at colleges and unis, and what's Keelan thinking? Is there a particular job you wanted to do? Is there a particular business you wanted to run? That actually wasn't that long ago, let's be honest. When you're at school, university, you've just literally finished.
Yeah, so
what was you looking at as a career path for you before Bwownies came along?
It was something to do with professional sport. Obviously I wasn't quite good enough to play actual sport, but I wanted to still be in that environment. Again, sport was like the only thing I really had, and I wanted to just carry on doing that. But at the time I was working at McDonald's, but my mum forced me to get a job. So I was working there, which taught me a lot of lessons. But
all good ones, right? Good ones and bad ones, valuable ones.
Yeah, so much. But obviously I didn't want to be doing that for the rest of my life. So I had to try and change it up.
So you then go to Exeter?
So
hang on, let's go back to Brownies. It's already started at this point.
So
when does that happen?
So I've always loved cooking. Obviously I've done it at GCSE. It's been a huge passion ever since I was little. I think my mum's a great cook and just taught herself, and I sort of clocked on I love tinkering around with different recipes and things like that, and trying to put my own spin on things. And that was when I stumbled across Bwownies, basically, because I realised that I made something that hadn't been done before, and it was just so different to anything else that we'd ever tried. And like friends and family kept asking them for birthdays, events, and then one day my nan just sat me down and said that I should turn it into a business. So I didn't really think that was that was possible, really. But like my dad set up his own plumbing company when I was born, and that's gone on to do really well.
So were these people like your mum cooking, your dad being an entrepreneur, were these sort of inspirational characters in your family then?
Yeah, big inspirations. And my late granddad was racing director at Corals. So I look up to him a lot, although I didn't get to speak to him much. I wish I could ask him a lot of questions now, but so some big inspirations in my family that I want to prove stuff to, basically.
So how long ago did you launch Bwownies? When was you know what, I'm actually going to turn this from me making cakes for friends and family into a hustle, as they say. Yeah,
so it was about 2016, 2017 was when I set up an Instagram. And I basically, I needed to get my first orders, but I didn't want to post my face. I didn't want to talk on there because obviously I was going into sick form and I'd be surrounded by my mates and stuff like that.
What, were you worried that they would take the piss?
Yeah. Like, even without my face, I had, they made fake accounts and would leave comments on my,
Because they thought it was funny, or just literally being horrible?
I think it was them thinking it was funny, but also being horrible. But I think it's a little bit of jealousy in the fact that a lot of them didn't have any job at all.
So did you ever have other than McDonald's? So it was McDonald's and then Brownies, or were you doing both at the same time?
Yeah, I was doing both at the same time. And I wanted to basically I had to try and prove to my mum basically that I could make some money from Bwownies to let me quit my job at McDonald's.
Right. Well, there you go.
That
just shows you had that foresight to actually, if I'm going to leave something else, it needs to be for more money. And if this business is going to stand on its own 2 feet, and I need to prove to my family, then I'm going to give everything to make it work.
100%. Yeah.
So that's for how many years now? 5 years you've been going?
Yeah. 5 or 6 years now. Yeah.
Okay, so you incorporate Bwownies. Right. So now, what's next? I've created this business that I'm selling to friends at the moment and family via Instagram. Or were you getting people you didn't know them through your Instagram channel buying?
So what I did is I had to look at what I had around me, and I had students around me who loved free things and they loved social media. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll bring in a load of samples and get them to have them. Everyone was just hoarding around. I felt like it was like piranhas. But I'd stop everyone and make sure that they were following me, but also shared my account. And I think when people would see that and they see the name, they'd clock on and just follow it because it was just such a unique name.
Do you know how unique that is in itself? That is a pure trait of an entrepreneur, of a founder who really has aspirations to grow, is that at that age, it wasn't that long ago, fair enough, but at that early stage of your business, you're saying, right, here's the rules. You have my product, you can have it, but you've got to follow me, you've got to share me. These are tactics that the biggest brands are employing. You were doing it at school.
Yeah, I know. That
think
taught
about
me a lot.
You were doing those things early on without somebody telling you how you used to do it.
Definitely. 100%. And that sort of got the ball rolling. I started to get more and more orders from people I didn't know, and even teachers would order quite a lot. Yeah. And I have to say thank you because they didn't stop me doing it. So.
You can't stop progress, can you?
No, exactly. No. Yeah, but it was so cool. And
so this was at school, secondary school or college?
This was at college. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at any point are you thinking, this has got some legs? Or are you thinking, this is still just me messing around?
Yeah, no, there's a specific point where I literally remember, I was talking about this the other day, I I remember we were all sat in our BTEC class and the teachers were asking us all what are our plans after, and one of them sort of looked at me and just said, are you going to go full time with the business? And at the time I just sort of like, I just sort of laughed. I didn't think that was even like an option. Mm-hmm. I just said I wanted to go to university, and then I just did that.
So let's talk about that then. So you leave and you go to university. What are you going into study?
Yeah, sports science again.
Okay,
yeah.
so sports on the brain still, but with Brownie still on the side.
Yeah, so I left and I couldn't really carry on Brownies because I couldn't make them in the student digs,
right?
Like in the halls. I don't think I would have passed. Yeah, I don't think I would have passed the hygiene stuff. But that was one of the best things I did do, because although I wasn't selling them, it really let me put my hair down and enjoy being 18.
So you stopped doing it?
Yeah, fully stopped doing it. Didn't stop posting on my Instagram. Oh. Kept the account, but just left it alone. But obviously, I was in my first year when the pandemic struck, unfortunately, and that cut my time short. But then I went home, and that was the rebirth of Bwownies. So
what were you going home? Was the push to go, actually, I need something to fill my time with?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, Brownies is still there.
Yeah.
Pick that up again, or?
Yeah, definitely, because I sort of transitioning from a BTEC, which is strictly coursework, to going into university was really tough for me. I think I failed 2 modules, and I wanted to drop out so much. And I think that quickly taught me that I didn't want to go down an academic sort of route. And I remember being like in the kitchen with my family, we were all locked down with dodgy haircuts, and I just remember my mum just saying like, this is a perfect opportunity for Bwownies to make a comeback. So what we did was
so that's the second time your mum has
whispered
to you.
Yeah,
that's great.
And I just done it, and it was unreal. We donated 50% of all the proceeds to the NHS in that first comeback. Hang on, let's talk about, because obviously it's built on social media, right? So this resurgence of Brownies coming back again. How many followers are you probably got at that point? I think this point we had 500.
Okay.
Yeah, which I was super proud of. But this was where like everything started to go a bit mad, because I sort of, it was quite early on. There wasn't many businesses, because obviously it was at the start of the lockdown. Now there's loads, because obviously they all clocked on.
Yeah.
And I was just remembering thinking, there's so many like influencers now that are going to be at home. None of them are flogging off to Dubai at this point. They're all here. So I was just like, right. I just remember I sat there and I'd be there. I sent thousands of emails. Yeah, you could, like, it's all on my phone. Literal thousands to influencers, just bang, 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 bang.
What to say? Do you want the Brownies?
Yeah, it's just Some of the emails I did send were pretty, like, not professional at all, and I didn't have a professional email or anything. But like some big ones got back to me. Like I remember just messaging like Ipswich Town players on Twitter, and some of them got back to me, and I was like, this is unreal. And it was just that buzz, and I just kept doing it, and then eventually I doubled my following. We went to 1,000 quite quickly, and I was getting plenty of orders. And then obviously I went back to uni again.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I went back to uni again. And then, from there I just tried to...
So when you went back to uni, what happens with Brownies at that point then? Because like you said, you can't cook on site or anything like that.
So at that point, I'm out of halls and I'm in a house.
Okay.
Yeah, and it had 2 ovens. So it was perfect. And
so how many people were you living with? I
think there was 7 of us.
All eating the Brownies breakfast, lunch and dinner?
Yeah, all the time, yeah, all the time. And I basically I had fridges in the front room, basically, like everywhere.
So were your housemates coming in going, I'm just going to make a shepherd's pie? No, I'm not, there's brownies in the oven.
Yeah, well, I'd do it around them, so I'd do it early morning and then late night.
And you're fitting this all in with your studies as well?
Yeah, and then in between I was studying. Yeah, and then obviously it just carried on growing.
Before we move on to the next part of the Brownies journey and the stuff that you and I spoke about on many occasions, did you ever stop and reflect on what you'd done, or were you just like, I just need to keep going, head down? Because that's one thing that entrepreneurs don't often do. Is congratulate themselves on what they've done. They kind of look at milestones in front, but no one ever turns around and goes, actually, look what I've just achieved. In such a short space of time, you'd achieved quite a lot under not easy circumstances, relatively difficult ones without having any cooking appliances.
I know.
So did you ever reflect on it, or were you just head down, I need to keep going?
Yeah, it was just head down. I at that point, I never remember looking back. I was only looking forwards. I was in a bit of a bubble. And I just, again, was just striving to be the best. And I still am.
I think you've done incredible, to date, but even up to that point. So congratulations. So then what comes next? So you're writing to all these influencers. Is this the same time that you write to Joe?
So this was sort of in the summer. I was back home. It was when I moved back to uni. I can't remember the exact dates, but I remember printing off an address to Joe, and I made up...
What you thought was his address anyway.
Yeah. What I thought was his address, and then I made it up, but I didn't send it. I didn't have the balls to do it. This was at Christmas, I think it was. So I just scrapped it, and I kept the sticker with his address on, and I just put it away. And then a few months later, obviously Easter come round, and that was when I just thought, oh, you know what? I've watched him all the time, and I think I want to be like this. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, I'm just gonna write a letter. I can't remember writing it for some reason now. I don't remember doing it. But I've got the notepad with I was so nervous that I was making loads of spelling mistakes. So I've got all the old drafts, and I just done it. I didn't know what their address was, so I just typed in please cakes, and it was their address for pickups and deliveries. So I just thought, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna see what happens. I'll do it.
So for anyone listening, this is Joe Maruzzi, who's the founder of Please Cakes, and he obviously was a bit of an inspiration to you. Yeah,
huge inspiration. I remember messaging him years ago, asking if I could get a cake for my mum's birthday, but they didn't deliver that far.
And you could see Joe's growth now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you wrote the letter?
Yeah, wrote the letter, put it in the box, and it basically just explained the story I just told, and where I want to go, and stuff like that. And then I just sent it, and he got it.
How long was it until he got it? Did he get it pretty quick?
Yeah, probably the next few days.
Because you're probably thinking he's never going to get it.
I remember waking up and just, I'd be on my phone and I'd just see please Cakes have mentioned you in a story. Please Cakes have mentioned you in a story. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, that's this is mental. And then but then obviously I'd do it, and then I'd have to go to campus and study for my exams, because it was after Christmas we all have our second year exams, so I was revising, but every 5 minutes I'd be looking at my phone being oh, what's going on. I was just my phone was just buzzing non-stop, and then the next day he wrote up the letter, because obviously my handwriting's not that great, so he wrote it up for everyone to see and posted it again, and then again it honestly went mental, and I remember ringing my mum and just being this is all really good and it's amazing, but I've got to make these. I've got to make all of these.
So you were getting orders?
Yeah, I didn't have any stock limits on, because we wasn't getting enough orders. Yeah, it was bad because we weren't getting enough orders to be able to put a stock limit on. And I didn't put anything on, so. That's a common theme, actually. We'll come on to that. But yeah, so then I just got hundreds of orders, hundreds.
Pretty much overnight.
Yeah. And at this point, I wasn't going to a wholesaler to buy ingredients. I didn't
into the co-op.
Yeah, literally across the road where I was getting like all my shopping. But yeah, and
so
then
how did you cope with that? What did you do? You obviously had to fill the orders.
I was literally up at 6, straight in the kitchen, make all of the orders, go to uni, come back, make all the orders, and then just go to bed and do it again. I'd done that for a good month and a bit until I'd done all the orders, because I could only make so many a day. I had 8 trays, so that was 8 boxes. So I could make 8 in the morning, 8 at night, and that was it. And I had to fulfill like 250.
Did you have to write to any of these people, these customers, saying, look, thank you, didn't expect it, you might have to wait a bit, but thank you?
Well, this was the issue, because I didn't really know what I was doing, so I didn't have any emails, because I set up a website myself on Shopify, and I didn't really know what I was doing, done all the typing myself, all the photos, so I didn't collect anyone's emails, so I didn't really know what I was doing. And it was all a ball ache, but I got them all out in the end. But I remember getting messages being like, where are they?
Where's my bloody
But I was
brownies?
like, I don't really know what's going on, but they'll be with you in the next few weeks, hopefully.
Common theme, but I don't know what's going on.
Oh no, yeah, it was pretty mad. But yeah, we done it. And
how did that feel?
Yeah, I was buzzing. It didn't feel real, and it still probably hasn't sunk in. But it genuinely changed my life.
Yeah.
Without that, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Was after that, because it's like a hit of adrenaline, right? So you've had this mad rush on, you're thinking, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make this business successful.
Yeah.
Like with anything that's a consumer good that's sort of hot right now, it will sort of drop off a bit.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get 250 orders every day. It's just normal. It's not going to happen. How did you feel when it started to sort of maybe drop away, or did it continue to carry on and grow?
So it gradually started to drop away because I couldn't make any more in that time. I couldn't make any content. I couldn't make any new products because I was too busy making all the orders that were going out. So we just let it dip off. I can't remember the exact number, but it was a good number of consecutive days where we got order after order. Yeah, it was.
Stop.
It was mental. It was mental. I wish I'd kept track of it, but I can't remember now. But yeah, it was mad. But yeah.
How long ago was that? You wrote a letter?
A year. It was a year ago. It was a year this Easter, so a year and a couple months.
Okay. So a lot's happened since then.
Yeah.
A lot's happened since then.
Yeah.
We've had you on to speak on one of our first ever Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
I remember calling Joe and seeing the story. I've known Joe for a number of years, and Joe's on our advisory board now, which is great because he gets to mentor people like yourself and others in that sector. And I said, Joe, look, we want to put this panel together about building a brand on social media. And Joe was meant to be on the panel.
Yeah, I remember.
I think got COVID.
Yeah, he did. I was gutted.
And I said, and we had Chelsea from Blondie's Kitchen and Harrison from Equals Health. And I said, look, I've got space for one more. What do you think about Keelan? And he said, boots, in typical Joe. He said, yeah, we get Keelan on, definitely get Keelan on. And it was the first time you'd ever done any public speaking. Yeah. You're quite, reserved. Naturally, you won't mind me saying that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but you're quite a reserved person. Yeah. And I remember that event, one, because it was our first ever Breakfast Club, and two, because it was your first ever speaking arrangement. And like today, you came down on the train, you gave it your time, and people left that event going, he's incredible. He's incredible. And they're all fans since then, and they're going to watch and obviously support you. And I think what you sometimes don't see is what other people see in you, and obviously how much you've grown. And that's common. That's normal for everyone in the world. You don't see what others see, but to see your success has been great. And personally, I've loved watching it happen. And so let's talk about the going viral. you know, because it's something you quite like doing.
You
get a bit of a kick out of it, I think.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Stephen Bartlett incidents and how that came about.
Yeah, so I sent, after the whole Joe thing happened, I just thought, I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm just going to keep doing it over and over again. And eventually I bought tickets. Before we start, I remember listening to Stephen Bartlett's podcast when I was making all the orders in the morning and at night. Because I thought, like this business, I could actually do this. So I was like, I need to start learning some stuff because I didn't know anything. I was just learning about the body and sport all the time. So I was just listening to that, trying to learn as much as I could. And I went right back to episode 1 and listened to the whole thing through. Yeah. And then I got tickets. I got my parents listening to it, and then I got them tickets to his live show. And I was just thinking, like, you know what? Like, I was at Centre Parks at the time for my brother's birthday, and I was just thinking, like, we can do something here. Why don't I just ask him if I can sell the brownies at the event? So at the time, I messaged him, and they obviously didn't hear back because he gets hundreds of messages. But funnily enough, I'd actually messaged him a few months before, asking if he wanted some brownies, and he actually got back to me. So I sent him some. I'm pretty sure it was the person that runs his social media account, Grace, who just wanted some anyway, but she's a legend. And yeah, so I sent some to him, and then I was speaking to Lewis from Kurogo, and he was like, I think just do a video. So I went on TikTok, as you do nowadays, and just started doing this video in the Centre Parks room that I was sharing with my brother. And I just started doing it, and then we just posted it, and he replied, and it was...
What did you say in the video?
I just said, I wanted to sell them at your event. Like, I got tickets, I'm going to be there anyway.
I'm coming anyway.
Yeah. Like, it makes sense. Let's do it. And I wanted to, I just thought it would be such a cool thing. It made perfect sense. And I've been building a community anyway, and that was perfect because they all engaged with this post. And eventually he replied, and we sort of made it happen.
So how did you feel when that reply's come through? Look, we're going to try and get your brownies into the theatre, we're going to get backstage passes. And so you got to meet him, didn't you?
Yeah, he upgraded my tickets to VIP meet and greet. So I was there with my mum and dad, and we were meeting him, and I unfortunately we couldn't actually sell them because the London Palladium didn't want us to, for obvious reasons. But him and his team worked around it, and they said, look, you can put 100 flyers in all the VIPs' gift bags. And I just basically explained this. We only had a few days to get this designed, printed, and then deliver them. So I had to do all that. Last few days was really stressful, and I had to get them up on the train and go give them to Grace at the London Palladium. And then like we met him, I was queuing up, and I got a goodie bag with my own leaflet in it. And I was just there, like, what is going? It was so weird. And when he
did you get to talk about it?
Yeah. He said just keep doing that, and
really?
He said like that takes some serious balls, and you don't see many people doing it. Like,
no, because a lot of people will feel that you hang yourself out to dry with it, and if it doesn't work or it doesn't land virally in the way yours did and still does, then you might look a bit of an idiot. But you have to take these chances. Like we spoke about before we start recording, is that you're young enough to make mistakes, and actually young enough to, with respect, be naive or to the outcome. I don't know that the Palladium won't allow me to sell this because they don't know what's in them, the allergies.
Exactly.
There'll be a lot of health and hygiene stuff around it. A more experienced person would have known that, But the fact that you asked it, that question could have been a yes.
Yeah.
You could have got that yes, which would have been incredible, but you got that opportunity.
Yeah.
And the PR around it.
Yeah, it was mad. Just like LinkedIn. Like I remember talking to you after the meeting, and I didn't even know what LinkedIn really was. Yeah. And we got on a Zoom call, and you helped me set up my LinkedIn
your Brownies LinkedIn account. Yeah.
I remember that, and now it's just pretty crazy. I get like the second amount of traffic to my website comes through LinkedIn.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Welcome.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Chris.
I'll put the invoice in.
Yeah.
I remember landing in Barcelona, and my phone started going bananas. Someone was texting me saying, Keelan's only got brownies into McDonald's. And I was like, what? But my wife's going, what's wrong with you? I was like, so hang on a minute, this is really important. We can sit on the plane for a little while longer, just wait. And then I looked at the date, I was like, fuck's sake, 1st of April, he's done me. But that was a good one.
Yeah, that was unreal. That was so good. I'm so happy with the way that
would you like that
all
to
worked
happen?
out. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd love that to happen. I was a bit gutted that no one
replied. From McDonald's?
No one replied or anything. I think it's probably because we outdone them. But that was so much fun, and we only had a few days to sort. Like I remember coming up with the idea. There was a few again. Lewis was involved in that, and Dan, the website man. And we were all like calling each other like, we've got to do something, and we were coming up with loads of different ideas, and that one made sense just because of the story going from working at McDonald's.
That's why I thought it was real.
And the image was
so good.
So good. And that was unreal. And like I remember going into uni, and I was doing some dissertation drop-ins, and the teachers saw it all, and they were like getting messages from the lecturers being like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And it was like, Keelan's got a partnership with McDonald's, and obviously I was just cracking up because I know it's April Fools, and they were just, everyone fell for it. And I still get messages now from people like saying, oh, congratulations.
A bit late.
Yeah.
So you got to top that down on the 1st of April next year.
Yeah, I've got some big plans.
So we've seen you go from strength to strength. We've seen Brownies grow with you as a person as well.
Yeah.
And what I've loved seeing is all these, as you call them, drops, just selling out. So, what was it? A few minutes, 6 minutes?
Yeah, 6 minutes is the quickest. Yeah. So it's been mental. The drops have been pretty crazy. So
you got your limits on this time.
Yeah. So I quickly realised. So obviously the thing with Joe happened. Still didn't learn my lesson. Black Friday, big discount. Again, this time it was way more than what happened with Joe because we'd have grown the account, and then got them out, and then obviously the whole thing with Christmas that happened again. Didn't put any stock limits on. Hundreds of orders overnight. Like burnt out. Basically, went home for Christmas, which was nice because I was relaxed. But then in the new year, I learnt my lesson and put stock limits on, and that scarcity creates demand as well. Because they were selling out so quick, people just wanted them. People wanted them every time, and people were trying to get them. And we were selling out in 6 minutes, less than 10 minutes multiple times, and we still had a couple hundred people on the website after they'd sold out. And for a business of my size, we're a fraction of the size of some of these big brands in the food industry. Like, it's just pretty unheard of.
You took on your first employee?
Yeah, we took on our first employee. That was pretty cool. Again, I used the fact that I had students around me. Students want money.
Yeah.
So I just put an advert on the student page, got a few responses, met up in a coffee shop and interviewed them. Basically just joked around, and then hired them, and then hired my first employee, and we moved into the unit because obviously I couldn't keep up with the demand in my house. So
you had a unit then at close to university?
Yeah, so I emailed every catering company in Devon. Again, just that naivety, just being like, I need some space. I need to run my business. I don't know if that's a thing, but only one got back to me, and that was the one I'm in now.
Yeah. But don't ever lose that ability and that naivety, if you want, to approach people, because the worst that they can do is say no. And if you expected no's for most of the time, then it's not bad.
No. I've done it. I've done it so many times now. Like a few months ago, I sent some brownies to like 50 probably of the biggest companies in the world. I was just getting their addresses off, like I did with Joe, off Google, at a company's house.
Sending it all to their account.
I don't know what I was thinking, but I was just like, you know what, like this could work. So I remember, like, I think I sent some to Tyson Fury.
Brilliant. Did it go?
No, I never heard back from him. But I sent some to like Mars Wrigley. And like,
do a video for Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I should.
So did you get them?
Yeah, I know, I should.
Now you're not boxing anymore, you can probably eat them.
Yeah, he probably does. But yeah, like just doing stuff like that over and over again, and because you just never know where it might land you.
It's been great seeing the evolution of Keelan, as well as the evolution of Bwownies, and seeing you go from strength to strength, which it will continue to do, and I think you are your business, but it's centered around a great product and great branding, which is what you do quite well with it as well. And it's you, and people buy from people as long as you continue to be the person that you are. People will continue to buy your brand, and I think I'm excited to see where it goes. And are you interested in ever getting into retail?
Yeah.
Is there any plans you can tell us about?
So the main thing is I really want to work on like building a solid business to business model.
Okay.
Because obviously it's all direct to consumer at the minute. But I think one of my strengths is the fact that I'm happy to admit that I don't know everything. And I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially younger guys, are scared of. And they want to know everything. And they think they're the big dog and the top dog all the time. And I think it's sometimes important just to, be humble to the fact that you don't know anything. I know the areas that I'm strong at, branding, and I know the areas that I'm weak at. And I'll just...
It's good that you recognise it, because it allows you to go and make that work for you and learn those things that you don't, because there's going to be thousands of challenges.
100%.
That you'll face, and you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, definitely. So we're working on a few different formats, a few different exciting products that hopefully we can get into retail. That's the main plan.
Well, firstly, huge congratulations on everything you've done so far. And we always finish these chats with, because it's called Leave a Legacy, what a legacy of Bwownies would look like to you. What would you like to see for your legacy?
Probably inspiring more young people to get into baking.
Fantastic.
I think that'd be cool.
Thank you very much, Keelan.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you.